Hello and welcome to The Bigger Picture. I'm Matthews Frank and I'm your host here tonight at The Bigger Picture. The Bigger Picture is all about recognizing those organizations that you may have never heard of here on the SUNY Oswego campus. Before we get going though, let's start with a little semester check-in. So right now, we're almost entering Thanksgiving break, almost finals coming up. People are getting ready to go back to their families and enjoy the holidays. So just a couple reminders. Enjoy the time that you're gonna be with your family for Thanksgiving. Eat a lot of food, talk to them, do little checkups with your family, make sure you're okay, make sure they're okay. Also get yourself mentally ready for finals coming up, because once Thanksgiving is done, straight into finals, and that's when the stress comes in. Always remember that when finals comes around, you gotta find your perfect spot to hide out and, study, do your work, because when you're, surrounded by people, sometimes it may not work. So that's what I do. I like to go by myself and, get what I gotta do. But yeah, just enjoy the holiday, spend some time with family and friends. We have a week off, use it. Before we get started with tonight's episode, just to mention real quick, our guest stars are the African American Males Empowerment Network, so round of applause for that. But first, let's talk about some events coming up. First up, next Saturday, AAMN will be hosting their first ever Black Excellence Networking Ball, where students will have the chance to network with Oswego alumni while playing some games, eating some food, and having a great time. Tickets are just $9 at the SUNY Oswego box office, so make sure you get your tickets. The Latino Student Union will be hosting their 45th annual dinner, Havana Nights, next Saturday inside Sheldon Ballroom. Music, dancing, awards, and food will be given out. Tickets are just $10 in the SUNY Oswego box office. Join 2.5 as they host their annual Skate for a Victim roller skating event inside Sweatman Gym this Friday at 8 p.m. To roller skate, it's just $2.50, and it's free to spectate, so make sure you come out. And lastly, join Fashion at Oswego as they host their Homecoming on the Runway fashion show this Saturday at 7 p.m. Tickets are just $5 in the box office. When we return, we will be joined by tonight's guest, the African American Male Empowerment Network. So stick around.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to The Bigger Picture. Tonight we have the African American Males Empowering Network, otherwise known as AAMN. AMN was founded to be a support group whose purpose is to allow African American males to acknowledge and accept their shared experiences and realities. In addition to that, they allow themselves and their members the opportunity to meet and achieve academic and personal goals. Joining us today is the one and only president, Edito Ramos, and the director of programming, Ricky Stratton. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So before we start, Ricky, this is not your first time being on the show. This is your second time being on the show, so welcome back.
Thank you so much, gang.
Edito, welcome to the Bigger Picture. This is your first time here.
Yes.
How's it feel?
Thank you. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. I feel at home. You guys are making me feel better, so I'm happy to be here.
Cool. So let's start with some questions, all right? So to start off, why AA Men? So either one of you could start, but that's the first question. Why AA Men?
Why AA Men? Honestly, I mean, it's funny because when we were doing the interviews for this as an org, that was one of the questions that we were asked. Honestly, my answer has always been the same. I just want a safe space for black men. I just want a safe space for black men, a space where they feel like they can be heard, they can be seen, they can be listened to, more importantly, and where they can empower themselves and grow. Like, being surrounded by black men going through the same exact thing. I think something that we were all lacking, because this all kind of went through something while we were coming up, was a space for them to really be surrounded by their own and I guess experience things with them, and we give them that every Friday, and I think it's really important.
Cool. Edito, why Amen?
Very similar to Ricky. I think that it was necessary for us, men of color, to have a place for us to come together and talk and express how we feel and feel at home. And I also experienced like the big org, like the BSUs, like the Alana orgs, which are a lot bigger than AMN. And it just feels a lot more rewarding to be a part of a smaller organization, be a part of the foundation, and put in that work that other people already put for those other big organizations that AMN, that work still has to be put in. So, also just seeing it grow, seeing people come in and feel free to talk about how they feel and learn about finance and learn about things that our parents don't really get to teach us about because they don't even know about it themselves. So that's why I decided to stick with the AMN, and I like it. I love it, actually. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. So, Edito, you kind of touched down on this, but what factors in your life made you want to join AMN?
Well, I didn't grow up with a father figure in my life. I didn't have that paternal figure. I have a stepdad, but he didn't come into my life until later on. So I wanted to, I guess, build that brotherhood. I grew up around women a lot of the time, like my sister, my mom, and things of that sort, my aunts. And I never had like men to look up to, like men to go speak to and things of that sort. And, I wanted that. So AMN was like one of the places that provided that for me, the main place that provided that for me. So that's why, yeah.
Great. Ricky?
Honestly, very similar to Edito. It really just goes down to trying to be the difference that we needed, trying to be the difference that we want, and are still trying to create. I mean, every Friday we see a different face. Sometimes we see a new face, we see an old one. But it just goes back to hoping that they feel the things that they may have been lacking, whether it's at home or even at school. There's some of them who don't even have friends, and they say that at programs.
Yeah.
And it's like, we want to be friends, we want to be family, and we want them to feel like we can do that every single Friday and every single event and every single time that they see us, even, because it's always bigger than the org. I think when they see us, they should be thinking brotherhood, whether it's in an AMN space, whether it's out of an AMN space.
Right.
We are AMN regardless of a program, regardless of an event. We're AMN in this moment, like even together right now, and I want them to feel like that.
Here, yeah.
Exactly. So my next question for you guys will be, what makes AMN different compared to the other organizations here on campus? So just to like brief everybody in real quick, AMN is kind of as an umbrella org. Yeah. So it's Alana, but not in the name Alana. It falls right underneath Alana. But yeah, what do you guys think about it?
One of the main differences is when we're an umbrella org, which means that we're a lot smaller. AMN is relatively new. We were founded like 2017, I believe. So we don't have that foundation, like I've said before. We're still pretty new. We don't have the budget that this other organizations have, so we have to go figure out other ways to make things happen, whether it be out of our own pockets, by fundraising, just doing different things to make sure that everything that we want to do is done and done properly and in a way that we're satisfied with. And aside from that, it's just a place for men of color. Like
Yeah.
that's just literally what makes it different. It's just a home for just men of color to come and feel like they're home and they're in a safe space. That's what I think. Yeah.
I think exactly what Adito said, but also just the fact that like our mission is not the same as most orgs in the way of which we go about executing it.
Yeah.
It's like because we're an umbrella org, we're less of like a space where it's like we're trying to necessarily teach a group of people things, and more of a space where we want a group of people to come for solace or like come for peace or come for relatability. It's like when we make these programs, for example, we made a program about race. It was literally just a program where it's like we all go through, you know, trying to find our way around like romance as black men, and we're trying to make it easier by making it fun for black men to practice that, whether it even be on other black men or women. And it was a fun program. And even when it comes back to like finance, you know, as brothers, we're going around the school, we know that sometimes times are hard, and we're trying to find ways to help, you know, give us ideas of how we can make that easier for each other while we're all going through it at the same time. Most orgs are more so like overarching problems or teaching about something. We're really just like, we get that you've probably learned about this, but how do you feel about it?
Yeah.
And like, what do you want to do with those feelings, or how do you want to express those feelings, because you're going to be heard in these spaces, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next question, I just want to give a quick shout out to BBB. BBB is AMN's sister org. They are the bold black beauties, similar to the African American Male Empowerment Networking. Same thing, just, you know, girls, BBB. So moving on to another question. This is the deep one. All right, you ready?
Okay.
All right. So, how does it feel being a man on this campus who is not only a man of color trying to find himself, but helping out others to find themselves on campus?
Oh.
I feel like we just had this conversation, I mean, not like the other day. Okay, so I just try to summarize it because it was a long conversation I had with Dito. It was really just me kind of trying to say, it didn't, all of this happened like in one go. Like I feel like I figured myself out, and right when I was just like, oh wait, I have a sense of self, Zion came. Hey, you want to be a DOV? He basically recruited me. I felt like I got Uncle Sam, like on a moment of, you know, like you want to do this? Like, but are you sure that I can? And it was like, at the end of the day, I had to, I guess, earn it in a sense of like, regardless of whether he was ready for me or not, I still had to make it work. But overall, it was just, it happened at the same time as me finding myself. And then from there, it became like, okay, so how can I make it quicker for my younger brothers to find themselves before it's like, oh, what do I want to do in my life? Where am I going? I changed my major 3 times my whole time here, while trying to juggle this org and like 4 other orgs, while trying to juggle writing books. And it's not like everybody else is doing that, but they're still going through things just as serious. And it's like, how can they do that by themselves with no help in navigation? I wouldn't want them to go through it the exact same way I did, because it wasn't easy. So how can I make that easier for them? By literally giving them what I did not have, especially since I finally can. And I feel like everybody on this board in some way went through the same thing, and it's literally just trying to give back. It's really just pay it forward. And I think that's kind of one of the things that the board was made for. Let's just pay it forward to our other brothers. And I think that that's super important.
Yeah, I kind of relate to that, because it's like, before AMN, I knew about AMN, I knew like the mission, I knew everything about it. It's just for some reason, like, I don't even know how to put it. I think I needed AMN, like in college. I really needed it, because I remember, like, even you know it before, I was stressed. Everything, literally the littlest thing stressed me out. But then since joining the board, it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still a little stressed, like with schoolwork and stuff. But when I come on Fridays 4 to 6, it's like that stress disappears. We're just like a group of men who, we're just like, you know, we're calm, we come together, we get things done. The programs are always great, the environment's always great. So it's like AMN was my escape from anything I was going through, or any stress that I have. Those 2 hours that we were in AMN disappeared, boom, it's gone.
Yeah, actually,
so
100%.
that's how I would answer it. Alito?
For me personally, I think that I'm still trying to find myself. I think that AMN has helped me in the direction of the person that I would like to be, or the person that I am going to be.
Yeah.
I think that becoming president, also, like, it was very similar to Ricky's situation, where Zion, who was the previous president, he was basically just looking for people to come and be on the e-board so AMN could still be AA Men. And I happen to be the secretary because I like to stay organized. And then I succeeded to be the president of AA Men, and then I just started bringing people in and things of that sort. So becoming president and just kind of helped me mature a lot more. It's helped me become a leader. It's helped me become a better person overall. It's helped me learn how to speak to people and communicate and things of that sort. And I just hope to pay that forward, whether it be to my e-board passing it on to the people, to the men of color who come to our programs and our events and things of that sort. But I think that we're all still trying to figure out who we are. We are a little bit older. Most of us are either juniors or seniors, so we do have a little bit more experience when it comes to, you know, just being in orgs in general, just life in general, you know, for some of us, and just college as well. So we just try to pay it forward to the underclassmen, you know, just trying to teach them and speak to them in any way possible or about anything that they might need help with. So, yeah.
I do want to highlight though, because you had said like a board of a group of men. We do also have two women on our board that I feel
we do
have very much helped us in this mission that we have. I just want to shout them out, you know, Vinny and Nigel. Thank you guys so much for joining the board, for holding us down the way that you guys do. I think that them being on the board, honestly, to me is a reminder that Black women are always there for us.
Yes,
honestly,
for sure.
Like in so many ways, them BBB just constantly behind us, whether it was with Screamskate, as I was a collab with them, whether it's a program that we have tomorrow in between us. We're always trying to find ways to make it easier, not just for one side or the other, but for both, because this is something that we go through together. And I feel like that, them being on the board, us having a sister org that close to us, it really does help us with our mission. I appreciate them for that.
For sure.
Yes,
for
sir,
sure.
yes, sir.
For sure. For sure.
So a lot of us men here on campus, we need that safe space. Like I mentioned earlier, like AMN was our safe space. That's the space where we felt good to, like, you know, be open, talk with other men, hear each other out, stuff like that. So what does it mean to you guys to create a safe space for men on this campus to be who they are? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That was a good question, actually.
I get what you're saying. To me, creating a safe space for men to be who they are and not be judged is to basically be who you really are. Like, I do my nails, I paint my nails, things of that sort, and I feel more than welcome to come into AA Men. I don't know if you guys can see it, but my nails are done. You know, I like to stay clean. I like to make sure that I look nice. I like to cut my hair. My ears are pierced. Like, those are things that a lot of people don't consider to be masculine, even if they might not be. I don't really care, you know, but I feel comfortable in myself to walk into these rooms and to do these things and create these spaces and be who I am and feel like I'm not being judged, because at the end of the day, one, I'm not being judged, and if I am, you know, that's not really my concern and things of that sort. But that's what I'll try to do with AMN. That's what we try to do with AMN. Just create that space, 46 or whatever time we designate for all of us to meet and just be who we are and not feel judged. We're all welcomed. We accept everybody, no matter what it is that they like. That's me.
Honestly, I would say it means everything. Being a Black man who, as Adiso said, is still growing, being surrounded by other Black men who are trying to grow, it's like, there's nothing more important to me than uplifting my people, honestly, and I think that this is one of the ways of doing that. I feel like even with bigger orgs where it's overarching, as I said, where orgs like BBB, AMN, even 2.5, like orgs like that, we're trying to focus on specific problems, specific aspects to ourselves that need that extra focus. And I feel like, especially in these times, Black men need that extra focus. We're now accepting that we're going through things with our mental health that may be difficult to handle by ourselves. We're now accepting that things were wrong in our childhood, and it affected us in ways that make it difficult for us to process our emotions, to be honest, to be upfront. And we're actively saying every week, maybe 2 times a week, that we are trying to solve these problems. I feel like creating a safe space every week, every 2 weeks, where we can feel like we can talk about these problems and help them, I don't think anything could be more important, especially in these times. And I'm honestly just thankful, grateful, and proud of my org, of being on this org, and being able to help with that. Because honestly, somebody has to, and I don't think anybody's more qualified than us as we go through it and as we try to be better at it while also trying to help people be better. Like, it's poetry, honestly.
For sure. Poet right there. Yeah.
All right. So, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we're college students, so we go through stress, we go through confusion. It's just a regular thing for us. So, I would like for both of you to tell me a specific moment, if you guys have, where you just felt stressed. You was like, I don't know what I'm doing next. I'm at a standpoint where there's no moving for me. And how you overcame that? What was your next move?
Wow.
Yeah. It's a deep question. I told you we were gonna do it. I told you.
Well, what I try to do is, one, I surround myself with people who love me. My friends, Matthews, Ricky, like my board. I know that I can always count on them for anything. If I'm feeling any type of way, if I feel too stressed out. As president, he's my vice president, Matthews is my vice president, so I know that I can always just go to him, like Matthews, like, what do I do here? He also has a lot of experience with LSU, and, you know, he just has a lot of experience, and most of us have a lot of experience on eBoards as well, so I know that I can always count on them for anything that I may need. I also try to spend a lot of time on my own. I feel like I'm my own best friend. I like to be in my own space sometimes when I feel like I'm surrounded by too many people, or when I feel overwhelmed and I just need to think about what I need to do next. I also like to write things down. That helps me to just figure out, okay, so this is what needs to get done, and things of that sort. But yeah, that's me.
The last time, I would say like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Like we had spoken then, I was in such a, I was a mess, low key. It felt as though everything was kind of falling on me. I felt like that for a couple of semesters now. I just keep picking myself back up. But the last 2 weeks, I kind of crashed. The first thing I did was take a nap. That's what you do. Took a calm, peaceful nap. I woke up. I'm like, I'm going to the gym right now. So I woke up from the nap. Yes. I went to the gym.
Gym works.
After getting out of the gym, I walked home and I was just like, okay, let's refocus, let's reprioritize, and let's remind ourselves of what the goal is.
Yeah.
The goal comes back to changing the school in a positive light, uplifting the people around me, uplifting people who look like me. And when you remind yourself of your why, which I really encourage everybody to do in these positions, it really reminds you of the fact that not only are you doing this for yourself, because, I mean, this looks great on your resume, but you're doing it for people who are looking like you, looking up to you, and trying, honestly, to either, you know, do what you're doing and do it better, or just be who they are in the best way possible. I think that is so important that it honestly tends to bring me out of those feelings. Like, let's say even with the show, for example, being that I'm on FAO, the show is in 2 days, and it's like, it's been a ride, you know, trying to make this show happen as it's my last show. But when I remind myself that these people are gonna walk on this runway and feel like they look their best, it's like, that's exactly what I want them to feel. That's the reason that I joined the board to begin with. That's the reason I tried to save it, you know? And it's like, I think those whys are what really pull me back. Because outside of being surrounded by like-minded people who are trying to do the same thing, you have to have that personal conviction to make these things happen no matter what you're going through.
Right.
Or at least to try and find ways to make these things happen, or make somebody else help you with that when you're going through things that make it impossible for you to do so. So I thank you guys, honestly, for being there, being able to pick up the slack or understand when I'm going through things. And I'm also just proud of myself for being able to pull myself out of that, because nobody else can but me, if that makes sense.
I like that. All right. So, real quick, next Saturday is the first ever Amen networking ball. Like, we gotta just give it up for that. So, real quick, what's you guys' opinion on this event? What do you guys expect to happen at this event? Any feelings? Like, what do we? Come on, it's happening next Saturday. We here.
It's right there.
Reminding me again, another
right
event,
there.
another fit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
But I mean, I can start off. I'm pretty excited for this event. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's always when you hear the word "first time ever," you get happy for it. You get excited for it. Like we're starting something right now that hopefully continues on. Like next year, the second annual networking ball, the third annual, the fourth annual. It just gotta keep going. So I'm just excited over that, and then I'm excited to see men come dressed up. Network, come on.
Yes,
some suits,
sir.
some ties.
Yes, sir.
Let's get to talk to each other. Let's get to know each other.
Man. Yo. Because it's like, this is the first one. Like, we really planned the first one. And it's really, like, when you think of the reason that we're doing this, it's like, we're really about to change lives. Like, the people that come to this are really going to walk away with something, learning from people who went to this school, trying to do the same exact thing that we did. I don't think I've been more excited for an event, honestly, on a personal note, when it comes back to, like, I wish that we had this when we were
freshmen.
When we were looking for things like this, you know? Like, we had balls, we had things like that, but one that's focused on networking with like-minded people who went through what we went through, probably in a different way, walked out with something and want to give back. I mean, It feels like one of the hardest events of the semester, honestly, especially for Black men. I'm hoping that you guys definitely tune in. If you haven't already bought a ticket, they're $9 in the box office. Be sure to. As a Black woman, buy a ticket for a Black man. Thank you. But yeah, honestly, I'm hoping that this goes the way that we planned it. Honestly.
Yes, honestly, I feel like I couldn't have said it any better than Ricky. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm just ready to see everybody come, you know, dressed and prepared to network and meet men of color. We have people like alumni coming from the Syracuse area, Rochester, all just ready and elated to, you know, network with us and be a part of our company. And I'm excited to see, you know, underclassmen pop out and learn a little bit, you know, from these older men who are coming to teach us something. So I'm excited.
All right, guys, when we return from break, we're going to hear more from Adito and Ricky as we continue our conversation on AMN and men's mental health. So stick around.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I guess I have really been looking for love in this dating app. Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
I think you could build a house here with how many bricks are being laid in this game.
That is a rapid nosedive, and it is at the point of no return, guys.
Welcome back to the bigger picture. Let's do one more question before tonight's episode comes to an end. So, AMN has the word empowerment in its name. So what are some ways you guys empower the men around you?
The way that I empower the men around me is literally by complimenting them. I always tell them, like, you look nice today, you know, things of that sort. I always try to check up on them, on their mental health. I ask them and I genuinely care, like, how are you feeling today? How are you doing mentally? Do you need help with anything? Do you want to talk about anything? Things of that sort. And yeah, just checking up on them. And some advice that I would give to whoever a Black man that's watching tonight is to not be scared to ask for help. It's okay to speak about what you're feeling. It's okay to confide in a friend who you actually trust and tell them what's going on with you. You don't have to tell them everything. Obviously, they might not have the answer to your issues and things of that sort, but sometimes just venting works and things of that sort. So yeah.
Honestly, my best way for doing it, because I think it's important, is simply holding them accountable.
Accountable.
Whether that be for their own mental health, for their own literal health, physical, mental, academic. It's really just saying you have a safe space, you have a person you can talk to, but please remember that it is important to hold yourself accountable for the things that you are responsible for the things you have to do, for the things that you shouldn't be doing, and for the consequences of the things that you shouldn't do that you do as well.
Yes.
Please take care of yourselves, love yourselves, and love your brothers.
Heavy on love yourself. And with that, all good things must come to an end. So I would first like to thank AMN, Adito, Ricky. Thank you guys for coming out. It was a pleasure having you guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. And I would like to tell all of you to tune into our next episode of The Bigger Picture. And as always, don't forget to always see things through the bigger picture. We're out of here. That's it.